morning, everybody. Hey, I'm a little bit late today. It's Thursday, May 7th. And welcome to, I don't know, pandemic. What day are we on? I'm not really sure. So today, I and my buddy Andy, right here, are going to talk to you a little bit about content. Now, content may sound kind of boring, but it's not. Content is key to Google finding you. And how do your clients find you? Well, they Google you. So I'm going to talk to you a little bit about how we're going to wrap this all together. But in the end, you're going to see how this can really be the key to your business. Now, we have lots of new members this week. Hey, Elizabeth, thanks for joining us. So I want to give a shout out to, hold on. Holy moly. We had like 19 people. Stephanie Chavez, Chris Bruce, Lucy Franklin Underwood, Michelle Neatert, Sandy Bell, McMillan, Linda Peterson Leach, Barbara Hall, Carol Luce Jaggers, Martha Thomas, Destiny Guevara, Aslin Ledis Lopez, Seal Mendez Casariego, Shirley Cron Allen, Lisa Marie, Judy Schofner, Monique Lee, Katrina LPC, Stephanie Hellstern, and Houston Feel Good Therapy, which I love that name. Hey, Jennifer, thanks for watching. So remember, in April, we talked about how April Fools, right? We're not April Fools, right? COVID hit, pandemic hit, our businesses, it's like, oh my gosh, now here we are, we're all having to do telehealth, and we're all supposed to be experts instantly. And they even did us nice favors like waiving, relaxing, whatever that means, HIPAA, right? Hey, Stephanie, thanks for joining. Hey, Jamie, glad to see you. So yes, in April, we talked about how we weren't fools, right? But in May, hey, the COVID showers, they're still falling. I love metaphors. We've got to get back to basics. So remember how we do this, right? COVID is a plan killer, not a dream crusher. So we start with that vision board. We keep that vision alive. Your dream of a practice. We keep that going. Then we set a goal. Not 10 goals. You set one goal, and then you backwards plan that goal. As you're following through with your backwards plan, now remember, a backwards plan can be as simple as by June 1st, I want to have a blogging presence on my website. Okay, well, from June 1st to today, you backwards plan that. How many times do you want to blog? What's a specific, measurable, trackable, attainable way to know that you have met that goal? So when we talk about backwards planning, it teaches us about ourselves, right? So if you hit June 1st and there are 0 blogs, well, that's a barrier. And we've talked about how to kick barriers to the curb, right? We talked a little bit last time about writing routines. When do you write? What makes it easier to write? We talked about writing angry, writing after you've listened to music, writing in the morning, writing in the evening. So this is a little bit different today because we're going to get specific about how to tie what you write into what you sell. And yes, for those of you who are new, hey Cheryl, thanks for joining. I use words like store. I use words like sell. I say the bad M word, right? Money. Hey Blaine, thanks for watching. So let's talk about this idea because in May, this group, Texas Counselors Creating Badass Businesses, we have your back, okay? So I'm going to call this the dance of content because for me, it's a developmental model. When I go talk to your classes, like when y'all are in grad school and your teachers, your professors invite me to come talk to your classes, I hear a lot of dreaming. I hear a lot of, this is my ideal practice. I hear a lot of, we want to have a house with a great park for these kids to come. I hear things like, I want a special center for abused kids. I hear things like, I need a battered women's shelter or a domestic violence center. So everyone is operating from a place of their dream. And that's what dreams are, right? So there are there's a lot of conversation in the beginning. In my new interns, when I get new interns and associates on board, we talk a lot about what's our dream practice. Now, developmentally, that's right on target. That's awesome. That's you sort of feeding what's in your soul. It's coming out of you, right? Because this dance, it's more like a game of catch when it comes to your clients. What comes out of you is going to be received by your clients, right? And if you throw it and they're like, what, did you throw something? I'm sorry, I didn't see that, right? Oh, okay, it wasn't shiny enough. Here, let me throw it again. And they're going, no, still not interested. Don't need that, don't want that. Then you have to regroup and say, well, wait a second, why aren't my clients coming? Why aren't they grabbing what it is that I have to offer? So we start with this idea as beginners that our ideal practice actually relates to our issues. I mean, that can be good and bad, right? If you tackle an issue that you haven't worked through yet, that can be a problem. So that's what supervision is for, right? Your supervisor is supposed to help you kind of work through that, what you enjoy. Now, when it comes to branding, then your branding becomes a little bit more self-centered too, right? Instead of something that your clients will enjoy, it becomes, these are a few of my favorite things. I mean, y'all, I have had conversations with new counselors where we've spent most of the time talking like what color scheme they're going to use for their couch pillows, or if they're going to have drapes or not on their windows. I mean, we sometimes spend more time thinking about this grand, what this is going to look like, how beautiful it's going to be. And you guys know this because I've gone to these websites and I've shown you before, hey, look, this isn't really for the client. Right now, this is almost like, hey, let me tell you a little bit more about me. And that's natural, okay? So at the beginning, and I hope those of you who are brand new or those of you who are interns and associates are hearing me right now, because when you start out, it's normal, it's okay to think in terms of this is what I'm putting out there, right? I'm gonna have some gorgeous headshots. I'm gonna make sure my lobby is beautiful and inviting, and I have the Keurig going, and I have waters for everybody, and it's chilled and it's lovely, and right? It's almost like an Airbnb instead of a practice. That's okay, that's normal. Hey Wayne, thanks for watching. So I don't want to put you down. I'm just going to help you gear this toward your clients, right? So step 2, and maybe there are 3 developmental stages. I don't know, maybe I'll write a book later, but I doubt it because I'm pretty much sure I'm stealing all of this stuff, right? I'm not telling you anything new. Anything I'm telling you, I promise I read somewhere else. So step 2 is when you actually see who walks through your door, right? And those of you who've been in practice for more than a year know exactly what I'm talking about. I've seen some amazing YouTube videos that y'all have produced. I've seen some amazing websites. I've read your blogs. And I can imagine that the people that finally find you are attracted to you because of something maybe initially you had no idea, right? And so when I was starting out, the social media thing wasn't really a thing yet. Okay, I think it was still MySpace. So don't laugh at me if you're not sure what that is. So it was, I think it was really my license. I'm an LMFT, and I think I had that first. Anyway, I had it spelled out. I know that. So licensed marriage and family therapist. So lo and behold, who's coming into my office, right? Marriages, which means, oh my gosh, who's coming through my office? Infidelity survivors. So I thought to myself, hey self, what if I could get more of these folks to come in? I got some training. I made sure that I knew what I was talking about, which is a good thing, right? And then I started to gear every talk, every presentation. I did a little video. I put free resources on my website. Now I was gearing what I was putting out to who was actually coming into my office. I want you to hear me clearly on that because sometimes we don't know for sure when we're starting out, right? We're just sort of thinking, oh, I'm a generalist, whoever comes in, right? We're not turning anybody away. We're narrowing down, we're becoming efficient with our time and our money and making sure that that what we're putting out is attracting people to come in our door. So when we look and see who actually comes in our office, now we can start doing the training, the ideal client exercise. What do they need? What do they value? And do I have that, right? So remember the values clarification stuff we talked about last week. Leadership, order, passion, persuasion, self-respect, simplicity. All of these are values that your brand is communicating whether you know it or not. Go back and look at your brand. Go back and look at your website and see if any of these words are coming up. Stability, success, tolerance, vulnerability, wealth, wisdom, what's coming through in your message, and now compare it to who's coming into your office. Those of you who are on insurance panels, don't tune me out right now, because I know sometimes you feel like if you're on panels, you don't really need to market. It's not that important, right? But it is so important. It's your Psychology Today profile. It's the profile when they're going through the list of people that they're going to call. I'm talking they being your potential clients. They're going to be looking down this list. They're going to click and they're going to see if they resonate with you. Hey, Angel, thanks for joining. So when you're looking and trying to compare who's coming in with what are you putting out, it's a dance, right? And we talk about codependency all the time as a bad thing, all right? It is, right? It's not the greatest thing in the world in a relationship, but unfortunately, that's what business is built on, right? You have to see what they need, then you have to adjust what it is that you're offering to make sure that that's resonating, all right? So let's think about what you're putting out there. What can you put out there? Well, obviously your website, right? Website is an outgoing message. It's got color, it's got the button, it says schedule a 10-minute consultation so people can find you and they can click and they can get to know you. But you also have your blog. How many of you have a blog that addresses your ideal client? Y'all, I have seen some blogs that are like your diary, right? I mean, I get it. Vulnerability, it's wonderful. Yay. Okay, super. But what about your client, right? So when I started seeing all these folks surviving infidelity coming into my office, I started writing blogs about what's a good apology? What does accountability mean? Let's talk about what boundaries are. I wrote a blog about boundaries that uses like a cow and a fence metaphor. I've had people call me on my 10-minute consultation and they said, look, I saw what you said about what makes a good apology. And it spoke to me. I saw what you wrote about forgiveness and it spoke to me. Well, I wrote it in a way that someone surviving infidelity would resonate with. I didn't write it so, Johnny who, stole a Snickers bar from Walmart would know how to apologize to the manager, right? Or that wasn't the deal. Or, Susie who cheated on her math exam could get back into school. I wrote the blog so that someone who had done something that they were deeply ashamed of could figure out a way to apologize. I wrote the article about forgiveness for someone who had been betrayed by someone who had done something heinous in their eyes, and yet they still wanted to maintain the relationship. So with that in mind, I'm writing blogs so that, ready, here it comes, Google can find it, right? Because if I'm just writing a blog, that's rocks off the Grand Canyon, right? I can't hear it hit. I can't hear it fall. Don't know what happened to it. It's super dissatisfying as a writer to think that you're just writing stuff and it's going off into the ether and nothing's happening. So, hey, Kim, thanks for joining. So you can do stuff, and I highly recommend this. There are free things like your get your Google Business territory, go claim that. There's Google Business Analytics, there's Google Console. All of that stuff is free. You can sign up for it using your Gmail account, and you can see how many visits to your website happen after you blog or after you make a slight change to your website. You can pay for stuff like Google AdWords. It's not terrible. I mean, I did it. I think it helped kind of generate some interest in things that I was doing. And it's, so I'm okay with that. I didn't like spending the money. So I switched to a strategy of outgoing content. Remember, this is a dance. I'm always looking at my sales versus my website hits versus I go into my analytics in my Facebook page. You know how easy it is to do this, y'all? Literally, if you have a Facebook page, click Insights, click it, and you will see every post that you put out there and how many engagements happen. So you can see over time, and a good marketer will help you do this. They will help you see what it is that you're putting out that is actually resonating with people so that they click a button. That's what engagement is, right? You don't want just views, you want engagement. And this is the hardest part for counselors. And I'm going to bring this back now to sort of the pandemic and what we're going through. I think a lot of us don't like what people are catching. So, not in a contagious way. So imagine if you're a brand new counselor and you have your heart set on doing grief work, and you've done training to do grief work, and you've gone to seminars, and you've done retreats, and you've done all this personal work so that you could be the best grief counselor on the planet. And then you look and you're like, crap, I really do have a lot of families coming in with young 20-year-olds who are having difficulty leaving home. Okay, well, I don't mind my grief, I can still do grief work, and then more and more come in. So you start thinking, man, maybe I should look at my website. And you notice that your website's pretty, it's a nice looking website. People are attracted to the message. You have a choice in that moment. You can redo everything. So in the hopes, it's like a fisherman, right? Okay, I'm going to change flies. I'm going to put it out there again. I'm going to see if I can get some grief clients. And I respect that. That's great. But if you notice that the people that are coming in, you enjoy, they enjoy you, you do a good job, you're properly trained, or you're getting properly trained because more and more are coming in, then that might be a great fit. Adjust your message, adjust your outgoing message to the folks who are coming in. What are they asking for? What are they telling you their problems are? What are their struggles? What are their goals, right? They're giving you the answers so that you can help more of them. So this is a dance. It's constantly changing, and it changes with the times. What did we all just have to do? Those of you who are writing blogs out there, we all had to shift to telemedicine, right? We had to shift to, okay, this is hard. This is not easy. This may be hard for a couple to come in. This is how we might make it easier for you to come in. Couples, here's one way that you can make this easier for your Zoom session or your Doxy Me session or your therapy tribe session or however we're going to do this. So we've all now had to, those of you who produce content anyway, are putting out content so that those clients who we know are going to be using technology can have a great experience, that they can know their information is safe. They can know that you get that struggle and you're able to meet them where they are, okay? Because your clients are learning too. They have no idea what those letters after your name mean, right? How many times do I have to specify after my PhD, I'm not that kind of doctor? Right? No, I'm not a psychologist. Nope, I'm an LMFT. I'm a licensed marriage and family therapist and a licensed professional counselor. Well, what does that mean? Well, let me tell you what that means, right? That's what we do. We use language to communicate who we are in a way that people will actually understand, right? Hey, Terry, thanks for watching. So let me wrap up, or at least recap a little bit here. So COVID came and it killed our plans, didn't crush our dreams. In April, we talked about how we can survive this. It's May, folks. It's time to put on our big girl and boy panties and make our businesses thrive. It's a dance. It's not a formula. I wish it was a formula. I would bottle it. I would sell it. I would sell it to you. I have an amazing course. It's a Badass Business Builders course. It's $250. You get a course, you get consultations, you get mastermind groups. It's a wonderful opportunity if you're interested in learning more. But y'all, this right here, what we're doing, this is free. Do the dance with me. Don't be stuck. Don't say, no, this is the only way I know how to do things. And by golly, I'm a grief counselor and I'm going to turn away folks. No, go get trained. Go learn how to work with families with a member struggling with addictions. Go learn how to work with families who are struggling with a member who's having a tough time launching. Now, of course, here's my caveat. If you don't like the client, don't get trained, right? If that is not your wheelhouse, don't do it. Y'all, I don't see kids. I'm not going to see kids. I'm not going to get trained in seeing kids. Those of you who do kids, I respect you. I love you. I'm here for you. I got your back. And of course, I don't want you to cross that line just for the sake of the almighty dollar, right? That's not what we're talking about here. It's unethical. It's not right. So I'm talking about if a client walks through your door and it makes you go, I really enjoyed that session. I'd like to learn more about how to do that. You know what? I think I'd even like more of those. Then we can start talking about doing the ideal client exercise. And that's where you sit down and we brainstorm, or you brainstorm with a friend. Hey, where does this person live? Where do they shop? What groomer do they take their dog to? Where do they work out? And as you start to think through who this person is, here's the dance. Ready? Now you can blog to them. Now you can post in your social media to them. Now you can help them. So when you throw that message out, they're like, oh my gosh, thank goodness, it's shiny, it's big. Ah, got it. They go to your website, you have that giant button so they can click a 10-minute consultation with you, and you can get to know them, they can get to know you. You can tell them about their 3 sessions, what to expect in session 1, session 2, session 3, so that they can book with you confidently, knowing that they found someone who gets them. All right? So remember this dance. It's a little bit developmental, right? We start off when we're beginners with our dream and who we hope walks through that door. We've got our practice decorated and it looks beautiful. And then the reality is who comes through the door, right? It may pique your interest as well. And we don't want to turn people away, right? The only time we're going to refer out is if it's outside our wheelhouse. If you're unsure about that, please get into consultation, right? Because you should never refer someone out just because you're not comfortable. And that's a whole different episode. If you're a supervisor in this group and you are not in my Texas Supervisor Training group, you need to hop over there right now, or wait till I'm done. Hop over there, because we have consultation groups every month where we can help you talk through these issues. And most importantly, if you're a supervisor, you're doing what I'm doing. You're helping your interns go through these values clarifications. They're figuring out who their ideal client is, not for marketing purposes, right? But to make sure that they're acting and practicing in a very ethical way. So this is a business Facebook Live, right? So I'm going to tell you how to get clients. I'm going to tell you how to make more money. I'm going to tell you how to survive COVID. I'm going to tell you how to get your practice off the ground so that it soars and doesn't do this, right? But remember the ethics of this too, right? You have an obligation to provide excellent care for your client. All right, it looks like my connection is going in and out, so I need to wind it up anyway. Y'all have a great week. Remember, you are too important to lose to things like going broke, giving up, COVID, not enough clients, right? We've got your back. Badass Business Builders, Texas counselors creating badass businesses. We have your back. You're too important to lose to things like that. Remember, #counselors don't quit. This is Dr. Kate Walker. Have a great week. I'll see you.